quick disclaimer here. I'm in the last stages of getting over a little being under the weather, a little cold, and for me, getting at the end stage of a cold means I tend to do a lot of coughing. I will try not to cough in your ear, but especially with me talking and maybe getting a tickle in my throat here and there, if I am not able to mute out before I cough in your ear, please forgive me. So there's my disclaimer. Let me make sure I'm recording. Yes, we are. Okay, good stuff. Okay. All right. Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is a beta launch party, if you will, because THW Global actually started beta on yesterday, and we're going to talk about that from our perspective, what all this good stuff means. Give me a moment. I need to look at my notes. I'm going to be using my whiteboard primarily today, and I do want to say this real quickly. So let's do this for about 10 minutes, all right? In case we've got some folks that are here, they were invited here, but they have not yet aligned with THW Global. THW Global is essentially it is a video platform. All right, so THW is a video platform much along the lines of, let's say, YouTube. All right, now we're not saying that THW Global is going to be YouTube. YouTube is huge. It's the third most visited site in the world. By far, not even close. It's the number one video sharing site in the world. We'll talk about who number 2 and 3 are. But even if we get to number 2 or 3 or 4, what that could mean for us. So it's a video sharing platform, much along the lines of, let's say, like a YouTube. But what most people don't quite get, they look at YouTube, they look at Facebook, they look at Twitter, and they say that these are social networks, right? Social media. And the reality is, these are not social media platforms. They are advertising platforms disguised as social media. All right. These are advertising platforms, ladies and gentlemen. If you go and you do a little research, don't have time to do that today. I want to spend about 10 minutes on this, and then I want to talk about the beta. If you go and do a little research, you'll find out that YouTube is worth $70 billion. Now, Google purchased YouTube back in 2006. We're going to look at a timeline of YouTube going way back in 2005. We're even going to see the very first video that was ever loaded up on YouTube, so that you can see, because we want to give you a much larger vision than maybe you've ever seen as it relates to any type of home business, work from home type of enterprise. All right, so THW Global. So you've got YouTube is worth $70 billion. All right, you go, you watch a YouTube video. What happens? There's typically an ad or two above the video you're looking to watch. And then as you start to watch the video, oftentimes before you can watch the video, there's a little ad there. You can watch the full ad, or maybe you can skip it in that ad in another 10 seconds or 15 seconds or what have you. So you've got advertising. Google is probably the largest online advertising platform. They do $17 billion. Google owns YouTube. Google does $17 billion, if I can get it right, roughly per quarter in ad revenues. $17 billion per quarter. So what is that? 70 some odd. What is 1734? $68 billion or something like that. If it was exactly 17 billion every single quarter, of course, some quarters is more, some quarters is less. If you look at Facebook reported in the first quarter of this year, 5.2 billion. What's wrong with my B's here? In the first quarter. So, ladies and gentlemen, Twitter, $641 million the last quarter of 2015. So, what we think are social media platforms: YouTube, social media platform; Facebook, social media platform; Google, search engine. YouTube, by the way, is the number 2 search engine. So, Google is number 1 and YouTube is number 2. All right. So, what we think are social media platforms really are advertising platforms disguised as social media platforms. Now, when you take a look, for instance, at the Forbes 400 list, the richest people in the world, 2 of the top 20 are co-founders of Google. They're both worth about 30 some odd billion dollars a piece. One I think is worth 38.2 billion. Another one is worth like 35 billion dollars. Is it one in the same, 38, 35? When it's that kind of money, it's probably all in the same, right? When you look at Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg is worth, what is he worth now? 50 some odd billion dollars. All right, where is that coming from? Where's all of that being net worth coming from? Obviously, they're major shareholders in their companies, but it's because what happened was we built their businesses. We built their businesses. Here's something my mentor taught me years ago. He said, distribution is king. We built their businesses. What we did is we joined Facebook. And then when we joined Facebook, we had a message sent out. Facebook had a little app there where we sent out a message to all of our friends that are in our email list for them to join Facebook. And we started posting pictures of our family and of our kids and going on vacation. And unfortunately, when we lost a loved one, saying goodbye. And we were connecting with people we went to college with and high school with and all that other stuff. And then you look up, and now all of a sudden, Facebook has 1.6 billion users. Because with all that user base, they're now able to serve ads everywhere you go. Go on Facebook, go into your news feed, you're going to see ads. Go on your right-hand side, you're going to see ads. Ads. Every time you like something, Facebook is gathering that data to see what you like, what are your interests, so they can serve targeted ads to you. And because $78 billion is now spent in TV advertising, but because of systems like Netflix and Hulu Plus, more people are watching TV on a recorded basis. They're not watching as much live TV. And so what advertisers are having a challenge with in TV advertising, which has been the traditional way to advertise, is they're having a challenge getting their message in front of a targeted audience. That's one of the reasons Google, YouTube, owned by Google, Facebook, Twitter, so on and so forth, are exploding their revenues, because those platforms allow advertisers to target who they want to get their message in front of. Okay, so now here you have THW Global, which is launching. We're in the beta phase right now. Just launched the video platform. I'm not saying again that we're going to compete against YouTube. Somebody on my YouTube channel said, "Hey, what do you think YouTube thinks about this?" Well, YouTube's, at this point, we haven't generated the first dime. All right, so that's not a big issue. All right. We'll talk about some competitors out there, but I believe it will be a big issue for us. And I believe that this can transcend the work at home space. So real quickly, and then we get into our training that we have prepared for you tonight. If you are new, if you are a guest, what happens is THW Global wants to get 1% of the global advertising pie. Now, what does that mean? Right now, this is a $650 billion industry. I feel a cough coming on. Hold on. Excuse me. Let me get a little water there. For our recorded audience, I probably won't have time to edit out that cough, so forgive me for coughing in your ear. For those of you who are watching this by recording, $650 billion industry. So to get 1% of that pie would be $6.5 billion. Now, for those of you that come from the network marketing arena, the MLM type of arena, there's only a few companies in our arena that do 6.5 billion in revenues a year. You've got Amway, you've got Avon, you've got Herbalife. Not sure if Herbalife does that much. I know they used to do like 4 billion or what have you. Okay. And so, if we hit this 1% target, whether it takes 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, then we will catapult ourselves as one of the biggest marketing companies. And if we go 10 years down the line, we may be the biggest marketing company, network marketing company, so on and so forth. But I believe this is going to transcend network marketing. Okay. And so this is how they're doing this, though, because how do you compete against YouTube right now? How do you compete? We're going to see just how far number 2 and number 3 are from YouTube. YouTube by far, it's not even close, is number 1. How do you compete? Well, maybe you don't compete. Maybe you don't try to compete. But if you want to get into the marketplace, maybe you want to take number 2, take number 3, you've got to be innovative. You've got to do something differently than what 2 and 3 are doing right now. We'll talk about who 2 and 3 are in terms of the video sharing space. And so what THW is saying is, listen, why don't these massive amounts of revenues that we're going to be able to generate, why don't we pay our content viewers? Why don't we pay people, and let's pay them, depending on what part of the world they're in, up to $25 an hour to view content so that our advertisers have targeted eyeballs to their offer. So what happens is you're going to join with the person that referred you. That's going to be free. It's not going to cost you anything to join, number 1. Number 2, then you're going to fill out a demographic survey where you're going to tell THW Global your interests. Are you interested in sports? Are you interested in politics? If you're interested in politics, do you have more of a liberal slant or do you have a conservative slant? Are you interested in animals? Are you interested in cooking? Are you interested in camping and what have you? So that way you're able to view content based on what your interest happens to be, and you're more likely then to want to do business with the advertiser that is either on the front end of that video, on the back end of that video, or maybe it is content that is talking specifically about that advertiser and their products and their service and what have you. Okay, so if you're new, what you want to do is get back to the person who referred you, say, hey, give me your THW referral link, join them for absolutely, how much was it? It was free. How much did it cost you? It was absolutely free. And all they're doing is they're saying, well, wait a minute, YouTube didn't charge anything to get people to join, and Facebook didn't charge anything, and they built user bases of tens of millions, hundreds of millions, in the case of Facebook, 1.6 billion users. Okay, so now let's transition, and let's go into the training that we have. And so what we heard, this came across our desk in mid-June. They said July 4th was when there might be some content to view. We didn't see the content viewing on July 4th. Some people said, it's a scam, it's not going to work, or what have you. All right, so I'm hoping that tonight we're going to be able to say ashes to ashes, dust to dust to the whole scam piece. All right. Even we've been saying, is it crap? Is it crap? Is it crap? Is it gold? Is it gold? We don't know. We won't know until we're starting to view and people are starting to make money, so on and so forth. Now, there still is the issue of hopefully they will be able to perform. They'll be able to execute. But I think we can lay the scam piece to rest. And let me tell you one of the reasons why I would say lay the scam piece to rest. One of the reasons I would say that is, if for no other reason than the cost of a video hosting system. Those of you that are in my email list, we sent out an email today. Those of you that are on our push notification list, we sent out this very early this morning. Hundreds of you, maybe even thousands by now, but at least hundreds of you last time I checked, had watched our Motivation Monday video. Okay, that video I did not host on YouTube. I don't host that particular video series on YouTube. I actually pay a third-party system for that video hosting. Okay, I can tell you, because we get so many of our videos viewed, if I was hosting everything on my third-party site where I own the content, they don't come and shut down my channel or anything like that. it gets very costly. Okay, I look at it as an investment, but my monthly hosting bill can be pretty steep. Now, obviously, if there's something I'm hosting on YouTube, I'm not paying anything for that. But if I'm hosting it through a third party, that costs quite a bit. Okay. Now, how much have they asked us for at this point? Nothing. Not one of us has spent one dime, one penny doing anything as it relates to THW Global, not directly with them. Now, some of you maybe have done some advertising, or maybe you've gotten a tool or resource or what have you that you're using to promote. All right. But that doesn't come into the coffers of THW Global. And so when I saw this come up yesterday, and I said, oh man, this is like, YouTube-ish like. Man, the bandwidth that it takes and the cost behind the scenes that it takes to run that type of outfit is huge, absolutely huge. So I personally, the whole scam thing, I'm saying ashes to ashes, dust to dust. All right. Will they fulfill everything they're saying? That still remains to be seen. But I will say this. Queen, how about you unmute for just a moment? I'd like to have a quick conversation with you if you haven't stepped away. I will say that. Okay, Queen, we got, in the past 2 weeks, have you seen a step up in communication from THW Global in terms of in the back office, in terms of emails? Have you seen them kind of step up, ramp up communication you've seen it step up. All right. And for my video audience, my recorded audience, you might not hear Queen on the other side. So just bear with me. Queen, when you saw last week or maybe week before that beta was going to start and we were going to be able to start watching videos, we weren't going to get paid watching it right away, but we were going to be able to start watching videos. How long, in your mind, what was your gut telling you? How long was it going to take before we were going to be able to start viewing any type of content, even with beta? Right. And Queen, what I did was I said, give me a moment. I was looking at this right here. Yeah, I was thinking, okay, because what they said was in a few weeks. All right? Yeah, I wasn't sure. Because the one thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I didn't know. All right. So I'm thinking. So at least you are thinking the end of August, right? Another 3 weeks. All right. And then they came out and they said, okay, well, we're going to have something for you on Monday, and then it was here on yesterday. So I like now that we've got more of an under promise, over deliver. That's what we would like to see, an under promise and over deliver. Now, I know there were some people that got a little, because of July 4th, we weren't viewing and what have you. I know that some of the numbers kind of slowed down. This is the time, especially if you've been building, that we need to re-engage and make sure that we're building like no tomorrow. Okay, here's why. I want to go and I want to show you a little bit about YouTube. Okay, a little bit about YouTube and the history of YouTube. So if we go back to 2005, and I'm going to put this in the chat so that all of you have access to this, because you might want to use it in your promotions. Give me just a moment here. And everybody should get this. Okay. All right. So what this walks us through. What happened? Oh, let's just make it bigger. I feel a cough coming on. Excuse me. Excuse me for coughing in your ear. Okay, so February 2005, YouTube was founded. February 2005, YouTube was founded. The first video, Queen, didn't even go up until April of 2005. What's that? March, April. So a couple of months after YouTube was founded, the very first video goes up. Here's the very first video right here. You can go in and look at it. First YouTube video ever posted. This was the first, ladies and gentlemen, this was the start of a $70 billion kingdom. That's not the word I was looking for, but $70 billion. Let me make sure, Queen, that's not my wife. Give me just a moment. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I need to make sure my wife's okay there. Okay. A $70 billion, it started back with an 18-second video. An 18-second video. Me at the zoo, and it's not even a good video. Watch the video. It's not good. And I think that might have been one of the founders of YouTube. A young kid back then. Okay. All right. So Google comes along and buys YouTube in October of 2006 for $1.65 billion. At that point, YouTube was still kind of newer, and this was the biggest purchase at that time that Google had ever made. It took until June 2007 for YouTube to launch in 9 other countries, including the UK. So we're talking February 2005, Queen. It took until 2007 before it launched in a few other countries. So, all right, so what's the moral of this story? We all want to be viewing now. We all want to be making money right now. If it takes a little longer for my Canadians, my Australians, my South Africans, my folks there in China, wherever you may be, because we've got to have 50,000 folks need to be registered and have filled out the demographic surveys in your region for them to be able to start really serving the ads. And in some cases, it may take that before they can even go and get the advertisers. They probably have some of them in place, but waiting. Advertisers have a lot of options these days. They can go to Twitter, they can go to YouTube, they can go to Facebook. All right, so we want to make sure that when an advertiser places his or her advertising dollars with us, whether they're a big business or small business or entrepreneurs like you and myself, we want to make sure that we've got enough people in that region viewing that content so that we have a great first impression. Okay, December 2008, HD video launch, Catch Up TV, whatever that is. I'm not sure what that is. All right, 2009. 4 years afterwards, 4.5 years afterwards, they hit 1 billion daily views, 11,000 per second. Now, it took them 4 years to hit 1 billion daily views. It only took them about 7-8 months to double the daily viewership. Now, I want to stretch your vision for what the potential maybe perhaps could, if she's gold, could be with THW Global. And let's not miss this. Let's not miss this. This morning when we sent out our Monday motivation, the message behind the video, the message of the video was they surveyed, they took a little poll of a few folks. I think they said 100, it could have been more. People that were at the end of their life. They were seniors. They didn't have much time left. And they said, what were the things that you lament the most? Was it the failures that you had when you believed in something, when you went for it and you didn't quite make it, or when you didn't do something? And overwhelmingly, the biggest regrets weren't the things that people did. Am I promoting THW Global and I might get egg on my face because maybe they don't execute? The biggest regrets were, doggone it, man, I should have done this. Doggone it, man, I should have done that. And I didn't do this or that. Okay? Give me a moment. I want to find something. Give me a moment. Bear with me. Oh, crud. What's that URL? Give me just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see if I can find this real quickly. Crud. Never mind. I can't find it. That's all right. So we'll go back. Okay, so I want to just give you some perspective. Then by May 2011, they're doing 3 billion views. All right, site gets major design. Then by January 2012, so again, that's only about a 7-month, 8-month window. They pick up another billion extra views per day. Now, what is this? This is building distribution so they can serve ads. And so now they're worth $70 billion. Some analysts suggest that YouTube ultimately is going to be worth $90 billion. And right now, they are bigger than, in terms of what they're worth, they're bigger than all but 66 companies in the S&P 500. It started in 2005 with an 18-second video about some dude going to the zoo. Wow. What if YouTube had been THW Global back in 2005? Back in 2005, I promise you, you would have had some bloggers, you would have had some marketers saying it's a scam, it's a scam, it's a scam. The reason marketers might be saying that is to get in front of all this traffic. Hey, it's a scam. If you want to build a real business, here, go over to my website. You've seen that on YouTube, right? You've seen marketers talk about scam, and then sending you to another offer, okay? Whereas with bloggers, some of my negative bloggers out there, their whole business model is built around advertising. But the way you get people coming to your site is not talking great about a new offer or what have you. That doesn't get as much going on. But if you can create something that's controversial and you can say, hey, this is what they're doing. What they're doing is, all they're doing is they're just trying to gather all your email addresses and then it's going to sell all your email addresses. Well, you know what? If that's what they were going to do, they've got 750,000. There would be no reason for them to launch this beta site that we're seeing. Say it with me. Ashes to ashes. We're talking about the scam. We're burying the scam tonight. The scam talk is being buried. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. There you go. There you go. There you go. Okay. And Queen, my wife, all right, my wife is viewing, right? Her survey is different from my survey. Now, we went back and she put some things that she was interested in and or some things that I was interested in when she did her survey, and because we went back and redid them. But I noticed what my wife was viewing, what got her interest was different than what I've been viewing. So not only do they have all these videos, but they've taken the time to say, okay, this person's demographic survey says they're interested in sports. They're interested in politics. They're interested in business, so on and so forth. Okay. I'm going to give you this one too. This is a real cool one also. This is where you can go on a timeline. So I'm going to post this one in your questions box. I would grab both of these URLs. Okay. Give me a moment. All right. So February 2005, February 14th. That's when YouTube was born. And what you do on this site here is you see all these little red dots. You just hit on the little red dot, and it'll tell you, what was important for that particular date. So first YouTube video was loaded April 23rd, 2005. I'll just run through this real quickly. Look, YouTube didn't even get officially incorporated until October 2005, Queen. First video, I guess the concept is February 2005. First video is April 2005. They didn't even put together a corporate structure until October of 2005. It was officially launched December 2005. So listen, if you're in a country that you don't have a lot of viewers just yet, or you don't have a lot of people registered just yet, don't faint on me. Don't lose hope on me. You'll reap if you faint not. Don't lose hope on me, okay? Because it took them several months before they even got out of the gate. Now, I believe that once we're really live and people are making money, that this thing is just going to go like wildfire. 2006, a company invests $8 million, a venture capital company. Let me just go and see if there's anything that's really... By 2006, by July 2006, so this is like 18 months from when the concept came about, maybe 16, 17 months, excuse me, from when that first video was posted. There were now 100 million video clips have been viewed on YouTube every 24 hours. 65,000 new videos are uploaded, and 100 million video clips are viewed on YouTube every 24 hours. So take some time to go through this. I don't have time to go through all of that. Again, I've given you that in your chat. You should be able to just click on that link and go and check that out. Now, I wanted to see, well, who are YouTube's biggest competitors? All right. The biggest competitors are Vimeo. Some of you may be familiar with Vimeo. I used to have a paid Vimeo account. They've got a different model. They certainly aren't as successful as YouTube. Vimeo was founded back in 2004. Truvio, founded back in 2004. And Daily Motion, founded in 2005. It's very interesting that I don't know of any company in the network marketing space that has attempted a video sharing site. When the reason I got so excited yesterday when I saw the videos, all right, is because in network marketing, the only thing I've seen, my biggest point of reference as a marketer, as it relates to advertising in our space, are the revenue sharing, the advertising revenue sharing models. And we know that historically these models have not lasted. Most of these models have either fallen because of the economics of the model was not built for a long term, or they ran into regulatory issues. And the way that these advertising revenue sharing models would work is you and I, the marketer, we would get my typing here. We would buy advertising packs. So we might pay $100, $500, some up to $10,000 to buy advertising packs. We would then view a certain number of ads each day. That might be 10, 25, 30, whatever. All right. And each ad would have like a timer, like 15 seconds or 30 seconds or what have you. And if you view those ads, then what would happen is, as the company took in revenue, you would get a portion of that revenue for that particular day. So it would be very exciting because people were making money every day. The problem is that most of those systems, everybody who was making money, those were the only advertisers. There weren't advertisers outside of the system. So basically, it was like funneling money around. And that's where some of the regulatory issues would come in, or a company would just fall flat on its face because once the system had been mature and had been around for 6 months, a year, 2 years, or what have you, and now people were withdrawing their cash, there wasn't enough new money coming in from new people joining, buying advertising to pay everybody. Okay, so that was my point of reference of a network marketing company getting into the advertising space. So yesterday, when we see this, and something I paid very close attention to, and they said this in their writing over the weekend, you know, what to expect. But if you've not seen it before, it's, for me at least, you know, I'm a numbers guy. All right. So my wife is artistic. My two sons are all my children are very artistic. So they'll say, Dad, you see this? And I'm like, no, I don't get it. I'm sorry, I don't get it. That's just not how I'm wired. Okay. So, but when I saw it, then I saw it. And so here's what I loved when I saw this on yesterday. Look at this site and someone tell me, if you know nothing about THW Global, if you don't know that there's an income opportunity attached to this, if you don't know about 25, 5, and 1, if you don't know about some of the things we plan on doing with our audience, with marketing, what have you, if you don't know any of that stuff and all you did was you came to this page, would this look like any type of network marketing anything? If it does not look like any type of network marketing anything, in your questions box, put an N for no. No, it doesn't look like network marketing. No, it doesn't look like network marketing. There you look, all these notes. I would have no idea. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we want. Because we want to have tens of millions, hundreds of millions of folks that are registered, that are viewing content. Yeah, they'll find out, hey, I could make $25 an hour, up to $25 an hour, up to $5 on overrides, up to $1 as I build my organization, so on and so forth. But I love the fact that this isn't the only ads I'm going to see aren't going to be from someone else who's promoting their nutritional offer. No disrespect if you're in nutrition, or their weight loss offer. No disrespect if you're in weight loss. But my frame of reference in network marketing tied to advertising was basically we network marketers pitching our deal to each other. And there not really being any major advertisers outside of the home business entrepreneur advertising. Well, ladies and gentlemen, when I saw this, I'm like, oh, we got our own YouTube. And then when I read, if you haven't done this, you got to come down here and you got to click on the about. Let's do this. Let's go through a little bit of this right now. And by the way, we will probably be at our largest webinar attendance. So, and this is impromptu. So, looks like some other folks are excited. All right. I want to read this real quickly. I want us to get this. All right, so we believe that video is the best way to capture and share life's incredible variety. THW Global provides a forum for people to connect, inform, and inspire others across the globe, and acts as a distribution platform for original content creators and advertisers, large and small. So they're telling folks, hey, we're in the advertising business. But what I saw yesterday when I read this that I had not really grasped before, because I'm thinking, we're just watching advertisers' promotional content. I said, wait a minute. This is a video sharing site. This is a true YouTube-like video sharing site where you can post content. Tom, you can post your content, and Solomon, you can post your content. And Zeke and Jerry, I know how much you love to post things on Facebook about all your excursions there in Panama. Well, guess what? You can now post your content. Now, it doesn't look like we can do that just yet, but it looks like that's where this is ultimately going to go. Great video experience with a wide breadth of content from all corners of the earth. A place where you can discover content you love from around the world: sports, music, festivals, comedy skits, political debates, fashion videos, news, so on and so forth. The choices are really limitless. Our viewers can follow, watch, and share the events and the ideas that keep the world surprising and diverse as they happen. Am I saying we're going to be YouTube? I'm not saying we're going to be YouTube. YouTube is started, they got an 11-year head start. But what if we ultimately take second position or third position? Because when you really think about it, some of you probably hadn't heard of Daily Motion, or some of you probably hadn't heard of Vimeo. Or if you heard of Vimeo, you didn't put them in the same class as a YouTube. You don't put Truveil, I had never heard of them before today, in the same class as YouTube. Let me give you this link also for those of you in your own promotional efforts. If you're getting value, if you're getting your vision stretched from what we're sharing right now, in your questions box, put a V for value or V for vision. There we go. There we go. There we go. Wow. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, so let's continue. Let's continue. All right. Here's a Vimeo timeline. Vimeo is probably number 2, or maybe they might be right behind Daily Motion. Okay. All right. Let's go and let's see. For instance, let's say we don't become YouTube, but let's say that we ultimately compete against a Vimeo for number 2 in the video sharing space. Let's look at what Vimeo is worth. Now, this is the same site that THW Global has shared with us to show what the site could be worth based on the metrics of traffic and what have you. Excuse me. All right, so let's take a look at Vimeo. Let's take a look at Vimeo, okay? All right, they are saying that Vimeo could be worth $928 million. $928 million. Now, I think by now we should be throwing the dirt on scam, right? But for those that maybe you trying to keep scam on life support, why would they want to scam, especially at this point, when, and we'll look at the potential worth of THW Global as well, when the site is already being valued into the tens of millions of dollars. They've not taken one penny from us. Not one penny. Now, I don't know what they've done with advertisers. I don't know if advertisers have put some money up. I don't know if they've got some big, deep pockets somewhere. They've got to have some pockets somewhere. We don't know that much about the people behind it, but they've got to have some pockets somewhere just to be able to load up what they've already done. All right, so Vimeo's worth $928 million. I'll give you the site too. Then I got to hurry up, so I got to give some instructions for what I'd like to see our audience do. So take a look at this. This is number 2. 900. If we got number 2 spot and all of a sudden it's worth $928 million and it's worth $8 million a month in revenue. All right, that is what, 8 times, what is that, 96 million a year? Almost 100 million. So if they started generating in the next couple of years, let's say $100 million in advertising revenue, about 50% of that, based on the compensation plan, would be paid out. So if they generate $100 million in revenue, $50 million gets paid out, we can make some good money with that, don't you think? Okay. Daily Motion was the other one. I'll give you this link. By the way, you'll also see what their Alexa rankings are. So even though some of us maybe are not as familiar with Vimeo or as familiar with Daily Motion, the reason I wanted to show these is because I want you to see that we don't have to be YouTube for the company to generate massive amounts of revenue. And obviously, we're going to get paid up to $25 an hour, up to $5 an hour when anyone that you personally referred views, up to $1 in your organization, so on and so forth. All right. This looks like to me, this could be by far, if they execute, the biggest thing any of us have ever seen in the home business space. Okay, let me give you some food for thought, and then we'll do some optional Q&A. Give me a moment. All right. Here is what I would say to our audience, no matter who your sponsor happens to be, no matter whose team you happen to be on. All right. So number one, what I would say is you view daily. No, we're not getting paid for it. But what this does is this allows THW Global to see what type of interest do we really have? Right now, when you go to the site, you see 750,000 folks that are registered, but people register for free, and people have a very short attention span when it comes to the internet. There were some people that when July 4th came and we weren't viewing on July 4th, they said, and they went off and they started doing other things. I get that. I don't have a problem with people doing other things. I'm the multiple streams of income guy, so I got no problems with multiple streams. But there were some folks who just said, forget this thing. They thought it was a scam or what have you. Okay. We want to start viewing daily so that they can get a sense of who's really here, who's willing to view daily. And if people are viewing daily and they aren't getting paid, well, then when we start paying them, they'll definitely view. All right. So you want to view daily. Now, they haven't told us, they haven't said, hey, view 20 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, an hour a day, or what have you. View daily. Go in daily and watch some content based on what your interests happen to be. All right. That would be number one. Number two, then you want to give a positive rating. Now, I don't get this. I don't understand this. There are some of these videos. Give me a moment. All right, I don't understand. Give me a moment here. Let's see. I may not be logged in. I may have to log back in. Let's see. Okay, so this video here, all right, it's got 12,380 views. Okay, I'm saying every time you view a video, give a thumbs up. I don't understand why 184 people did a thumbs down. I don't get it. All right, let's not be the thumbs down crowd. Let's not be the negative crowd. Let's understand that where we are, because if YouTube had done this, and the reason I wanted to show the YouTube timeline is I wanted you to see that what YouTube is today is not what it started off as. It started off not even having a corporate structure for about 10 months. It started off with the first video being an 18-second me at the zoo video. All right, so I don't know what your expectation was or was not when the videos came up. All right, we're starting off with a lot better than a 18-second video about being at a zoo. If you're getting those animal videos, those are some really cool videos. You got to watch some of them. Hey, Queen, I found out there. I was watching one of the videos today. I'm an animal buff. There are 3 insects that are edible that you can eat. And they talked about ants and the protein packed in ants. And I couldn't help but think about there's a show with Bear Grylls. Some of you know who that guy is, where he was. Well, I guess I shouldn't say it. Some of you might be eating. I won't say it. All right, but you see this elephant right there. You see this elephant? It has something to do with the elephant. Yeah. All right. So let's watch the content. One, let's vote on every piece of content that we watch on, and hopefully that is a thumbs up. Okay. Hopefully that is a thumbs up. I don't get the 184 that said thumbs down. I don't get that. Let's not be the negative thumbs down crowd. Let's be the thumbs up crowd. All right. So we're watching our content, and then we're going to do a thumbs up. You do have to log in to be able to do a thumbs up or thumbs down, and the system will tell you that if you're not logged in. All right. Now, let's make sure that everyone in our household that is 18 or higher is registered and have filled out their surveys. Now, someone asked a question because as they went through the terms and conditions, it said you have to be at least 13. And someone said, well, does that mean that someone 13 can be an introducing broker, can be an international viewer, an IV? I don't know the answer to that question. Right now, the latest information we have says 18 to be an IV. You might be able to be 13 to have an account to be able to load up content, but that may not necessarily mean that you can actually be 13 and be an IV and make money and what have you. So I don't know that. But I'd venture to say there's a lot of you that are married, you've got a significant other, or you've got children that are 18 or older in your household, or maybe you've got mom and dad in your household because maybe you're caregivers or what have you, with 18 years or older that they have not registered. Okay, let me ask you this question in your questions box. I won't mention your name. If you have someone in your household, married, significant other, son, daughter, mom, dad, somebody in your household other than you that's 18 or older, and you have not registered them, they have not registered and not filled out the demographic survey. If that's you, I won't mention your name, put a Y in the questions box. That's yes, I have somebody that's not registered. That's a lot of yeses. Okay, I'm going to keep the Y's coming. There's a lot of Y's there. Okay. All right. Now, do me a favor. For those of you, there was a bunch of Y's. For those of you that put a Y there, not including yourself, now I want you to put the number of people that are in your household that are 18 or older that have not registered and have not filled out a demographic survey. I see 1, I see 2, I see 3, I see 4. I see another 4. I see a bunch of 1s. I see 3. I see another 4. I see another 2. Some more 4s. I see 5. Wow. Be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth, subdue the earth, and have dominion. There you go. No, you cannot use the same email. You cannot use the same email. You cannot use the same username. What you can always do, though, is simply go to Google or Gmail or what have you and register a different Gmail account for that person in your household. Okay, so we have a lot of you that you've not gotten your spouse registered, your significant other registered, your children that are 18 or older, mom and dad, whoever's in your household. So what you want to do tonight, get them registered. Get them registered and get them filling out the survey. All right, I'm going to walk you through that in case you don't know how to do that. All right, get them registered, get them filling out the survey. All right, even if it means you know your loved one, even if it means you fill out the survey on their behalf. I did that with my did I do that with my mom? My mom maybe filled out her survey, but I know I did it with my brother. I know I did it with my sister because, at the time, nothing had launched and, they weren't coming on to our webinars. They're not entrepreneurs. So I knew, Queen, that to get my Queen, my brother. I love my brother. He might be on the webinar, maybe. Queen, my brother. All right. So I wasn't even going to get into that battle. Hey, Tim, I'm going to get you into the system. I need your email address. I need your password. I know what he's interested in. All right. If you got to do that, do that. And see, just by looking at the numbers that you folks have put in here, that would help these countries, Queen, get to the 50,000 registered and folks that have taken a demographic survey. So let me show you how to do this real quickly. I'm going to send out tomorrow, in my post tomorrow, I'm going to send out a video that walks you through the registration and demographic survey. Okay? So if you don't get it all right now, you're not a techie or what have you, and I go too fast, don't worry about it. Because we'll send this out. All right, you'll just make sure you're part of our webinar list so you get this information. All right, so let's do this real quickly. All right, so the first thing that you want to do is you want to log into your THW Global back office. All right, so you want to log in, and obviously I'm not going to log in front of our audience. and I'll blur this out for our video audience, okay? All right, so you're going to log in. Go to thwglobal.com, you're going to log in. Now, right now, it looks like, man, I'm still at the video side. If you go up here to the left and left click, let me make sure it's not going to show anything I don't want to show. Down here, it's going to say IV Back Office. You're going to left click where it says IV Back Office. Okay, now you're in your back office, okay? Now, if you have not taken the survey yet, then you're going to go to the survey center, and you'll simply go on and click where it says demographic survey. You'll take your survey. Now, when you take your survey, I want you to be very liberal with your interests. Don't be too tight on your interests, meaning this. I want you to think not just you, but anyone in your household, anyone in your sphere of influence, anyone that you love, because what's going to ultimately happen is the more things that you say you are interested in, the more information could be served to you. Now, if you have loved ones and you maybe during the end of the year, you participate, whatever your faith may happen to be, in some type of gift giving, because that's kind of your family tradition or your faith tradition or what have you. Or maybe when somebody has a birthday or what have you. Well, if someone that is dear to you, think of what they may be interested in, because you might get served something in terms of an ad that would put you in remembrance of them when it's birthday time or it's gift giving season or what have you. But that's going to now give you plenty of content. And then if there's something that's there that you're not necessarily interested in, what you'll find is you'll see that there's enough sports stuff for me to watch, Queen. There's enough political stuff for me to watch. I wanted to be a politician. So I like this time of the year when you got the presidential candidates, even though I don't agree with either one of them. but it's fun to watch for me. This one is especially fun to watch. Scary, but fun. So there's plenty of stuff there. Be liberal in your selections of what interests you is the point I want to make. All right. Now, you don't know what your referral links are. If you don't know what they are, the company's not sending out a welcome email or a confirmation email. They did that the first few days. Since then, they've been putting things back here in the message center. So you're going to go into your message center and you're going to look for a welcome message from THW Global. Give me a moment. I'll show you exactly what it looks like. I've got to get through quite a few messages because we're very active in building the business. Okay. Bear with me. Here it is. You're going to look for this message that says, welcome to THW. Now, mine says June 29th. Yours could be a different date because we were already into the system prior to June 29th. So yours, if you've joined afterwards, could be, whenever you joined or what have you. You're going to the message center. You're going to look for your welcome to THW. You're going to left click where it says read. I'm not going to do this here because it's going to show my referral link and I don't want to show that off. And it's going to show you 3 different links. Any one of those can be used. All right. They take your person to the same place and then your person will then simply register. And it's as simple as registering. Actually, it's easier than registering for a Facebook account. All right. It's basically just asking for a name. It's asking for an email address, a username, a password, and I think your country. I think that's all it's going to ask for. Once they've registered, then they are going to come back and they are going to fill out their survey. Okay? So it's that simple. It's that simple. So you should know how to find your referral links under the message center. The welcome to THW letter is what you're going to be looking for. That's going to give you 3 links. You don't need all 3. You just need 1. Go on tonight and register those folks that are in your household. Register those folks that are in your household. So some of you said you had 4. Register them all at that referral link of yours. All right. So now all of a sudden you got 4 people that you've registered. All right. And then anybody else that you register going forward, you'll register at your original link that you have here. Okay. the same link that you would have used. And then make sure they filled out the demographic survey. All right? So what we've done is we're viewing daily. I'm not saying view 2 hours a day. I'm not saying view 10 hours right now a week. I'm not saying that. We're not getting paid for that, but view something daily. Make sure at the end of every view, we got a thumbs up, a positive rating. Let's make sure that everyone in our household that's 18 or over, they have viewed and filled out surveys. And for those of you that have a good warm market, well, you could call up your brother, you could call up your sister. They're not in your household, but they're 18 or above. Or you could send them an email, or you could send them a text, or what have you. You could say, hey, I don't know if this is going to amount to anything, but it very well might be. There's this company. They look like they're trying to follow the steps of YouTube, but they're going to pay us to view YouTube type content. Register for free and take this survey. We might make some money. If you don't know the marketing lingo, what have you, get some people registered and taking the demographic survey, even if they're outside of your household. Now, we'll spend a lot of our time going forward showing you how to build a business, because the majority of your business ultimately is going to come from a cold market, people who don't know you. All right. Some of you that have a good sphere of influence with your warm market, start there. That's great. Start there. Start with your Facebook following. Start with your Twitter following. Ultimately, we're going to show you how to build with the cold market in mind, because even if you have a good influence with your warm market, ultimately you're going to run out of your warm market. And then what? And so real quickly, and then we start to round third here, and we'll get to some optional Q&A. Remember this, that you get up to $25 an hour once we start viewing, once we're live, not beta test live, but live. The difference between the $25, what does that up to means? I want you to understand that so that you can, if someone asks you, you've got a really good, educated answer. All right. Here's the bottom line. The average after-tax income in the U.S. is $2,800 a person. The average in the Philippines is $353 a person. Do you think an advertiser is going to spend more to get their advertisement in front of somebody living in the U.S. that makes $2,800 on average versus someone living in the Philippines that makes $353 on average? And that is not to say that the dude in the U.S. or the dude in the U.S. is better than anybody else. No, we're all part of the same human family. But from a pure economic standpoint, does that make sense? Yeah, that would make perfect sense. So the advertiser in the Philippines isn't paying the same advertising rate as an advertiser in the U.S. So there's going to be varying rates depending on where a person lives and maybe even the offer that's being advertised. Okay, I would imagine that they may cut some different deals, to get some advertisers to maybe do a longer term contract or what have you. So that might impact also this up to $25 an hour. Okay. Now we know that ultimately we'll be able to view as many as 10 hours a week. Now, does that mean that the moment we go live that everybody can view 10 hours a week? I don't know. We may be able to view 10 hours a week out of the gate. We may not be able to view all 10 hours out of the gate. There may not be enough advertisers at that point. Don't know. But remember what happened with YouTube. 2005, it was 8-9 months before they even incorporated. 18 months, 19 months later, Google buys them out, which, by the way, there's been some folks saying, hey, somebody might buy out THW Global. I hope not. I don't want that to happen. Because I don't want them changing the comp plan on us. And a lot of times when big corporate comes in, they say, oh, we don't have to pay people 50%. So I hope not. I hope that the owners of, or whoever's behind THW Global has a much longer view, and they want to become, maybe we don't become a $70 billion giant, but maybe we become a $20 billion giant, $30 billion giant. Okay. All right. So then we've got anyone that you refer, you make up to $5 an hour. So let's assume that we're now viewing the maximum 10 hours. Okay. That means that you could make up to $50 a week per referral, which is just over $200 a month per referral. So what happens if you're my buddy Tyron, and Tyron's like at 400, maybe above 400 now, personal referrals? Every referral could be worth $200 a month to him. Now, will every referral be worth $200 a month? Certainly not. It's not a perfect world. But what if every referral, and we'll at some point we'll be able to see, I would imagine, these numbers. So Tyron at some point will probably know his numbers. He'll know, man, every personal referral is worth about $57 a month for me, or $116.32 a month for me. All right, I'm a numbers guy, so these are the types of things if they don't make it available for us, I'm going to be figuring out, okay, based on the commissions that we see and what have you, and however they break that down. Okay, this, ladies and gentlemen, could be huge. But then you also have, and we'll finish with this, the 10-level organization. So you refer Shirley. She's on your first level. Shirley refers Salita. Salita's on your second level. Salita refers Gerald. Gerald's on your third level. You've got 10 levels there. Anyone in your 10-level organization that views, you could earn up to $1 per hour. Since they can view 10 hours a week, that means anybody in your 10 levels could be worth up to $10 a week, which means that anybody in your 10 levels could be worth up to $40 a month, a little bit over $40 a month, because there's going to be some months there's more than 4 weeks. All right. And so understand, if we're going to come close to Vimeo, if we're going to come close to Daily Motion, we're going to have in time tens of millions of viewers. They're going to be on somebody's team. They might as well be on yours. Tens of millions of viewers are going to be on somebody's team. How many of you want them to be on your team? If you want them to be on your team, put a Y in the questions box. I want my portion of those tens of millions of you. That it's going to happen anyway. It happened with you too. Whether we believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, it happened. It's already happened. The hard part has already taken place. Somebody has proven it can be done. This is not like they're manufacturing something that's never been done before. Video sharing has been done. It's been proven. Network marketing has been done before. Nobody's just pieced them together. They're piecing it together, ladies and gentlemen. And we're here as the gold rush starts. So my challenge to you is to get re-engaged. If you kind of detached for a little bit, get reinvigorated, view daily, give a positive rating, make sure everyone is registered in your household. And then let me give you the last one here. Stay connected. Stay connected to what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen. I may not be your sponsor. That's okay. You may not be in my 10 levels. That's okay. Hopefully by now you see our passion for assisting our following, which our following means anybody who finds value in our training and our coaching and whatever we're doing. Okay. Stay connected. Make sure that you are part of our webinar list and you're getting your folks a part of our webinar list. We have promised to you, and we have kept that promise, that we're never going to send out any personal referral links to that list. We send out nothing but value. If we send anything out, it's going to always be something of value. And that is by staying connected to THW Global Webinar.com. No, I'm not. Somebody on my YouTube channel asked if I was an insider. No, I'm not. I'm you. All right. I don't have any more inside knowledge than what you have. I have no more inside knowledge than what you have. I've got a different perspective because I've been in the industry 20 years. I've got a different perspective because we built 5 7-figure businesses. I've got a different perspective because I was a part owner of a network marketing company. All right. That's it. That's it. Okay. THWGlobalWebinar.com. Get your folks registered. Also, we'll have a presentation webinar tomorrow. Tuesday nights, we're going to do some combo. We're going to do some combo since we're now in Demo Queen. I'm going to spend a little more time on the presentation side, maybe about a half an hour, 35 minutes or so. We'll take like a 3, 4, 5 minute break, and then we'll do some basic marketing training. So your new person will have enough information to get back with you, to join with you, and if they want to stick around for our what I call finger paint training, so that people can learn how do you build a large-scale business. To build a large-scale business, we're going to have to ultimately go into the cold market, people who don't know us. And we're going to have to do something other than just spam people on Facebook. We're going to have to ultimately get traffic, get eyeballs to our offer for them to join you, as opposed to them joining John, Mary, or Susan. You want them joining you, right? All right, so our Tuesday night webinars are going to be a combo effect of presentation, the first part of the webinar, and some good, concrete, valuable. Every time you come, you're going to walk away saying, I got value. It's not just going to be every time you come, you saw another presentation, you heard it again, which that's important too, because that helps to reinvigorate you. But you're going to walk away saying, man, I got some value out of this thing. When I come to that dude's webinar for an hour and 15 minutes, I'm walking away with some goods. I'm walking away with some value. So we're going to give you some value. So tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Then our Thursday night webinars, we are talking specifically about mobile marketing, because there's a mobile marketing platform that we're launching around THW. Oh my gosh. And the combination effect of those two should be nothing short of explosive for your income earning potential. Okay, so stay tied to us. So here are the 4 things. View daily, give positive ratings, make sure everyone in your household is registered. If you've got a Facebook following and Twitter following, get your links out and what have you. If you don't know anything about cold market marketing and that kind of stuff, cold market meaning people you don't know, then definitely you want to stay connected to us, tie into the things that we're doing, because our whole aim is to help you build a long-term sustainable business with multiple streams of income across multiple niches, so that you have the financial freedom and the time freedom to hotly pursue the passions of your heart. With that being said, Queen, I'm finished. We can get to some Q&A, Queen. Okay, so the question for our recorded audience is, give me a moment, let me go back. Where's the clock that keeps track of our total viewing time? I don't see that yet. Be mindful, we're in beta. So I would imagine there'll be something, excuse me, I will imagine there'll be something in time that will show that. It may not show it on the face, because the face, there appears to be nothing that's tied to network marketing, but it may show up when you log in somewhere. I know. Yeah, that's what. Yeah. That's the question. That's the question I'm addressing. Yeah, that's the question I'm addressing. Yeah. What I'm saying is, I would imagine that remember, this is beta, and beta just came about yesterday. All right. So I would imagine that's something that we will ultimately see, and hopefully we'll see that in beta. I would imagine, though, that you're not necessarily going to see it on the front page of the site. That might be something that you see as you log in. Because right now, for instance, it keeps up with recently viewed. So I can go here and I can see my recently viewed. So I would imagine that that's something that's forthcoming. Queen, here are 3 edible species of bugs. That was a cool video. Yeah, and if you really get stuck, if you're out there in the wilderness and you can't find anything to eat, and you can find a beetle, man, that packs a punch with some protein.